Imagine if you could unlock the hidden power within you to transform your life simply by learning the art of reflection. In this audiobook, discover how self-reflection can reshape your destiny, break old patterns, and lead you to success. Your future begins now. Introduction. Do you feel stuck in your life, uncertain of where you're headed or how to move forward? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly grow, evolve, and succeed, while others struggle to make meaningful progress? What if the key to unlocking your greatest potential lies within you, hidden beneath the noise of daily life, waiting to be discovered through the power of reflection? Reflection is not just a buzzword. It's the game changer that most people overlook. It's the secret weapon used by the most successful, fulfilled, and self-aware individuals, those who have mastered the art of introspection. But here's the truth. Without intentional reflection, you'll be forever running in circles, unaware of the lessons life is trying to teach you. Reflection is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. This book is your blueprint to harnessing that power. In this transformative guide, you'll uncover the hidden force within reflection that propels personal growth, reshapes your mindset, and opens up new pathways for success, both personally and professionally. Forget the quick fixes and surface-level advice that promises overnight change. Real transformation happens from within, and it starts with understanding yourself, your motivations, your patterns, and the beliefs that guide your choices. We are not here to simply tell you how to reflect. We're here to show you how reflection can become a life-altering practice that shifts your reality. In the pages that follow, you will learn to use self-reflection not just as a tool, but as a lifestyle. Each chapter will guide you step by step through the science, psychology, and practical techniques of reflection, helping you tap into your own potential and uncover powerful insights. Why does reflection work so well? Because it offers something you can't find in any self-help article, course, or motivational seminar: clarity. When you begin to reflect deeply on your experiences, you gain the clarity you need to understand who you truly are, what you want, and how to bridge the gap between your current self and your desired future. Reflection gives you the ability to break free from old habits, limiting beliefs, and mental roadblocks that have held you back for years. This isn't just about recognizing your past, it's about shaping your future. What you'll learn: the transformative power of introspection. Discover how regular reflection can unlock your inner wisdom, boost your emotional intelligence, and elevate your decision-making. How to create a reflective practice that suits your life. From journaling to meditation, we'll dive into the tools and techniques that will help you develop a powerful habit of reflection tailored to your needs. Master the art of self-awareness. Learn how to observe your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions from an objective standpoint without judgment to facilitate true personal growth. Turn reflection into action. Reflection isn't meant to be passive. You'll learn how to turn the insights you gain from reflection into tangible, actionable steps for both personal and professional advancement. How to leverage reflection for success. Whether you're looking to improve your career, relationships, or personal goals, we'll show you how reflection can be your secret weapon for long-term success. This book isn't just about theory. It's about actionable results. You'll learn how to take the most meaningful lessons from your life experiences and use them to fuel the next phase of your personal evolution. By the end of this journey, reflection will be more than a tool. It will be a habit so ingrained in your daily life that you can't imagine living without it. The power of reflection. Why it's the key to unlocking your true potential. When we don't take the time to reflect, we miss out on the invaluable wisdom buried deep in our experiences. Reflection allows you to step back, look at your life from a bird's-eye view, and understand what is truly happening beneath the surface. You'll see patterns in your behavior that you never noticed before, gain new perspectives on old situations, and develop an inner confidence that can only come from truly understanding yourself. Reflection allows you to become your own mentor. It gives you the ability to break free from old habits that no longer serve you and create new patterns that align with your highest potential. Imagine having the clarity to make decisions with ease, the confidence to step into new opportunities, and the resilience to handle life's challenges without losing your way. This is the power of reflection. Throughout this book, I will guide you through every step of this powerful process. You will not only learn how to reflect on your past, but also how to create a vision for your future, harness the lessons learned, and use those insights to achieve greater success, happiness, and fulfillment. By making reflection a daily practice, you'll transform your life in ways you never thought possible. What you'll experience. This book will challenge you, inspire you, and push you to grow. You will come face to face with your own strengths and weaknesses, but rather than feeling overwhelmed, you will feel empowered. You will develop a deeper understanding of your core values, desires, and motivations, giving you the courage to make bold, life-altering decisions. You'll experience the thrill of discovering what makes you tick and the joy of seeing how reflection can bring you closer to the person you've always known you could become. Whether you're seeking personal enlightenment, career success, or simply a greater sense of purpose, reflection will guide you there. By the time you finish this book, you'll have everything you need to cultivate self-awareness that allows you to make choices aligned with your true self. Turn your personal and professional setbacks into opportunities for growth. Overcome your limiting beliefs and unlock your inner strength. Develop a clear vision for your future and create a roadmap to make it a reality. Reflection is the key that opens the door to your limitless potential. Don't wait another moment to unlock the power that resides within you. So, are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Are you ready to gain the clarity, confidence, and resilience that will guide you to the life you've always desired? Let's dive into the incredible world of reflection and start creating the life you deserve. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 1. The Art of Self-Reflection. Have you ever had a moment where everything around you feels like it's moving too fast, and yet, deep inside, you feel stuck? You go through the motions, wake up, work, eat, scroll mindlessly, sleep, repeating the cycle without really stopping to ask yourself, is this the life I want to be living? It's strange, isn't it? We make thousands of decisions every day, big and small, and yet so many of us rarely take the time to sit with ourselves and truly reflect on whether those choices are leading us somewhere meaningful. We live in a world that values action, hustle, productivity, distraction. The idea of simply pausing to reflect feels almost counterintuitive. Who has the time? Who wants to sit alone with their thoughts when there's an endless stream of notifications, responsibilities, and expectations keeping us occupied? It's easier to keep moving, to drown out uncertainty with noise, to stay busy and convince ourselves that being in motion means we're making progress. But what if we're just running in circles? What if we're so focused on doing more that we've forgotten to ask if we're doing the right things? Here's a truth that most people don't realize until it's too late. A life unexamined is a life dictated by everything except your own true desires. When you don't take the time to reflect, you end up making choices based on habit, fear, or external pressures, rather than genuine intention. You follow the path laid out before you without questioning if it's actually right for you. You react instead of respond. And over time, without even realizing it, you become a passive participant in your own life. But what if you could change that? What if, instead of feeling lost, overwhelmed, or disconnected, you could cultivate a sense of clarity, purpose, and inner strength? That's what self-reflection offers. It's not about sitting in silence, meditating for hours, or analyzing every little detail of your past. It's about developing the ability to look inward with honesty and curiosity, to ask yourself the tough questions and listen for the real answers, even when they're uncomfortable. The problem is, most people don't want to face themselves. Maybe that's you too. Maybe you're afraid of what you'll find if you slow down and take a real unfiltered look at your life. Maybe you've made mistakes that haunt you, choices you regret, or sacrifices that no longer feel worth it. Maybe you're scared to admit that something is missing, that the person you've become isn't quite the person you hoped you'd be. And that's okay, because self-reflection isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. It's not about tearing yourself down, but rather understanding yourself so you can build a life that actually aligns with who you are. Think of it like standing in front of a mirror. Not the kind you glance at quickly to check your appearance before heading out the door, but the kind that forces you to really see yourself. Every line, every flaw, every detail that you usually overlook. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, maybe even painful, but the longer you look, the more you realize that your reflection isn't something to fear. It's something to understand. And once you understand it, you can start making the changes that will bring you closer to the person you want to be. So how do we start? How do we move from mindless motion to meaningful introspection? The first step is breaking free from autopilot mode. You know the feeling. You wake up, check your phone, go about your day with barely a moment to breathe, and before you know it, the day is over. Weeks blend into months, and suddenly, another year has passed, and you wonder where the time went. That's what happens when we don't take the time to pause and reflect. Life becomes a blur, a series of tasks rather than an intentional journey. To break this cycle, you have to become conscious of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. That means making time, yes, actually scheduling time, to sit with yourself and ask important questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Is this making me happy? Is this leading me where I want to go? It sounds simple, but when was the last time you actually stopped and asked yourself these questions? The second step is embracing discomfort. Reflection isn't always easy because it forces us to confront parts of ourselves that we'd rather ignore. Maybe you realize that the career you've invested years into isn't fulfilling. Maybe you recognize patterns in your relationships that you've been too afraid to acknowledge. Maybe you see how fear has been holding you back from taking the risks necessary to grow. These realizations can be painful, but they are also incredibly powerful. Because once you see the truth, you can no longer pretend it doesn't exist. And once you acknowledge it, you can begin to change it. The third step is asking better questions. Most people, when faced with self-doubt or uncertainty, ask themselves questions that don't actually lead to growth. Why do I always mess things up? Why am I not good enough? What's wrong with me? These questions aren't reflective. They're self-destructive. They reinforce negative beliefs rather than uncover deeper truths. Instead, start asking questions that empower you. What can I learn from this experience? What patterns do I notice in my behavior? What small change can I make today that will bring me closer to my goals? The quality of your self-reflection is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. And finally, self-reflection is a practice, not a one-time event. You don't wake up one day, reflect for an hour, and suddenly have your entire life figured out. It's an ongoing journey, one that requires patience, honesty, and a willingness to keep looking inward, even when the answers aren't immediately clear. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. The more you practice self-reflection, the more in tune you become with yourself, and the easier it is to make choices that align with your true values. Right now, you might feel unsure. You might be wondering if this really applies to you, if self-reflection can truly make a difference. But here's what I want you to understand. Every single person has the ability to change their life through reflection. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to be willing to look inward and start asking the right questions. So let's make a commitment, right here, right now. A commitment to stop running, stop avoiding, stop distracting ourselves with meaningless noise. A commitment to take a deep breath, face the mirror, and start the process of truly understanding ourselves. Because once you do that, once you learn to see yourself clearly, everything else begins to fall into place. This is only the beginning, but beginnings are powerful. Let's keep going. Chapter 2. The Science Behind Reflection. It's a strange thing, isn't it? The idea that sitting alone with your own thoughts, something that should come naturally, feels like one of the hardest things to do. Most people would rather fill their time with anything other than deep thinking. In fact, in one study, researchers found that people preferred giving themselves painful electric shocks rather than sitting in silence for 15 minutes with nothing but their own thoughts. Shocking, but not surprising. Reflection can feel uncomfortable, sometimes even threatening, because it forces us to slow down and truly pay attention to what's going on inside our minds. But here's what most people don't realize. Self-reflection isn't just a philosophical practice. It's a neurological superpower. The more you understand how your brain processes thoughts, emotions, and experiences, the more effectively you can harness the power of reflection to improve your life. Science proves that self-awareness is linked to better decision-making, improved emotional intelligence, and even greater levels of happiness. So why do so many of us avoid it? Because the brain is wired for efficiency, not depth. Your mind's primary job is to keep you alive and functioning with minimal effort. That's why it builds habits, relies on shortcuts, and resists anything that feels uncertain or uncomfortable. Reflection, by its nature, disrupts the brain's autopilot mode. It forces you to slow down and question what you normally accept without thinking. And to the brain, this feels inefficient, even risky. But here's where it gets interesting. Research in neuroscience has uncovered that the very discomfort you feel when reflecting is actually a sign that your brain is working in ways that lead to real growth. Reflection activates the default mode network, DMN, a set of interconnected brain regions responsible for introspection, self-awareness, and meaning-making. When you engage in deep thinking, this network lights up, pulling together past experiences, emotions, and knowledge to help you make sense of your life. This is the space where insights are born, where aha moments happen, where patterns become clear. The problem is, most people don't engage their DMN long enough to experience these benefits. Instead, they get caught in what neuroscientists call cognitive avoidance. This is the tendency to distract ourselves rather than face our own thoughts. We scroll, we binge watch, we fill every spare moment with noise. Not because we don't have time to reflect, but because our brains convince us that it's easier not to. But here's the hard truth. Avoidance doesn't make difficult thoughts disappear. It only buries them deeper. And over time, that buried stress, uncertainty, and unresolved emotion manifest in other ways. Anxiety, indecision, burnout, even physical illness. Your brain is always processing your experiences, whether you engage with it or not. Reflection isn't about overthinking or obsessing over the past. It's about giving your mind the space it needs to process, learn, and move forward. The two types of reflection: healthy versus destructive. Not all reflection is helpful. In fact, some forms of introspection can actually make things worse. Have you ever spent hours replaying a mistake in your head, spiraling into self-criticism? That's not reflection. That's rumination. And it's one of the biggest traps people fall into when they try to engage with their thoughts. Healthy reflection, constructive thinking, seeks to understand, not punish, focuses on lessons learned rather than dwelling on mistakes, helps you identify patterns and make better choices, leaves you feeling clearer and more empowered. Unhealthy reflection, rumination, and overthinking. Repeats negative thoughts without resolution. Focuses on what went wrong without exploring solutions. Reinforces self-doubt and fear. Leaves you feeling stuck, anxious, or defeated. The key difference? Direction. Healthy reflection moves you forward. It helps you process experiences in a way that leads to clarity and growth. Rumination, on the other hand, keeps you trapped in the same negative loops, reinforcing old fears rather than resolving them. So how do you train your brain to reflect in a way that's actually beneficial? Step 1. Recognize when you're ruminating versus reflecting. The first step is to catch yourself in the act. If you notice your thoughts circling the same problem without any progress, ask yourself, am I searching for understanding? Or am I just replaying this for no reason? If it's the latter, break the cycle by shifting to an action-based mindset. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? If there's no clear answer, it's time to let the thought go. Step 2. Use science-backed techniques to engage in productive reflection. Now that you understand the why behind reflection, let's talk about the how. How do you engage in deep thinking in a way that's actually beneficial? Neuroscientists and psychologists have identified several techniques that make reflection more effective. The third-person perspective shift. Research shows that when you think about your problems from a third-person point of view, as if you were giving advice to a friend, it reduces emotional distress and increases clarity. Next time you're stuck in self-doubt, ask, if I were an outsider looking at my situation, what would I say? Writing for cognitive processing. Studies show that writing about your thoughts, especially in longhand, forces the brain to slow down and process information more deeply. It also creates psychological distance, making it easier to see things clearly. Even 5 minutes of journaling can provide breakthroughs that hours of passive thinking cannot. The 90-second emotion rule. Neuroscientist Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor discovered that most emotions, anger, fear, frustration, only last 90 seconds in the brain unless we keep feeding them with repetitive thoughts. Next time you feel overwhelmed, try sitting with the emotion for 90 seconds without attaching a story to it. Often, it will fade on its own. Scheduled reflection time. Your brain thrives on patterns. If you set aside the same 10 to 15 minutes each day for intentional reflection, it becomes a habit rather than an occasional struggle. Whether it's through journaling, walking in silence, or simply sitting with your thoughts, consistency is key. Final thoughts. The power of rewiring your brain. Through reflection at its core, reflection isn't about looking backward. It's about understanding how the past is shaping your present and future. Every time you engage in healthy self-reflection, you're literally rewiring your brain to think more clearly, make better decisions, and respond to challenges with greater emotional intelligence. This isn't just abstract theory. It's neuroscience in action. So, here's the challenge. For the next 24 hours, commit to one small act of reflection. Maybe it's asking yourself a better question. Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes. Maybe it's just sitting in silence without distraction. The goal isn't to have all the answers. It's to start training your brain to slow down, process, and grow. Because in the end, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. And the more you reflect with intention, the more control you gain over your own mind, your own choices, and ultimately, your own future. Chapter 3. How to reflect with purpose. Have you ever heard the saying, "You can't change what you don't acknowledge"? This phrase holds deep wisdom because reflection is the first step toward change. The problem, however, is that many people reflect in ways that don't lead to meaningful transformation. They glance back at their day, their experiences, or their actions, but fail to really ask the tough questions or explore the root causes of their feelings and behaviors. Reflection becomes more like a checklist, a brief moment of self-pity or self-justification, but not a process for growth. True reflection, the kind that creates lasting change, is purposeful. It's not about passively thinking about the past. It's about actively engaging with it to improve your future. But this requires a bit more than simply pondering your mistakes or admiring your successes. It takes intention, focus, and a structured approach. Why is purposeful reflection so powerful? It's because it shifts your mindset from being a passive observer of your life to becoming an active participant in it. Instead of life just happening to you, you start to recognize patterns, evaluate your choices, and set intentional goals based on your reflections. The beauty of purposeful reflection lies in the insight it gives you to not only understand your past, but to shape your future with greater clarity and intention. In this chapter, we'll dive into the steps you can take to reflect with purpose. I'll guide you through the strategies that make reflection more than just a passive activity and show you how to engage with your past in ways that lead to real transformation. By the end of this chapter, you'll know exactly how to structure your reflective practice to support personal growth, decision-making, and long-term success. The importance of creating space for reflection. Before diving into any specific techniques or questions to ask yourself during reflection, it's crucial to understand that space is essential for reflection to be effective. In our modern world, we are constantly on the move. Our minds are buzzing with tasks, distractions, and responsibilities. To engage in meaningful reflection, you must carve out time and space where you can truly connect with your thoughts and feelings. Why does space matter so much? Simply put, without a quiet, uninterrupted environment, you won't be able to reflect deeply. The world is filled with distractions: the ping of your phone, the constant buzz of emails, the pressure of deadlines. When we're surrounded by noise, our minds can't slow down enough to do the deep introspective work needed for genuine reflection. Think of your mind like a messy room. If you try to clean it while there's constant clutter coming in, you'll never make real progress. Taking time for reflection creates a mental clearing, a place where your mind can sift through your thoughts, unpack emotions, and connect the dots between past experiences and current feelings. It's during these moments of quiet that clarity often strikes. Whether it's a few moments of silence before bed, a dedicated time in the morning with a cup of coffee, or a solitary walk through the park, carving out moments of stillness is essential for reflection with purpose. You don't need to create hours of space every day. In fact, just 10 to 20 minutes of uninterrupted time can work wonders if you are intentional about it. You don't need a luxurious space or a beautiful setting either. What matters most is that the space is free from distractions and allows you to tune into your inner voice. Choosing your reflection technique. A variety of paths. Once you've carved out space for reflection, the next step is determining how you want to reflect. There's no one-size-fits-all method, and the best technique for you will depend on your personal preferences, your current goals, and the challenges you're facing in your life. However, there are several reflection practices that consistently yield powerful results. Let's explore some of the most effective ones. 1. Journaling. The power of putting pen to paper. Journaling is one of the most popular and effective ways to reflect, and for good reason. When you write down your thoughts, feelings, and observations, you externalize them. This allows you to examine them from a different perspective, making it easier to see patterns, identify emotions, and work through challenges. Journaling helps you clarify your thinking and organize your emotions, which can be especially helpful during times of confusion or stress. It can also serve as a way to document your progress over time. Looking back at old entries can help you recognize how far you've come, what you've learned, and where you might still need to grow. When journaling for reflection, it's helpful to focus on specific areas of your life. For example, you could ask yourself questions such as, What did I learn today? How did I handle challenges or setbacks? What am I avoiding? What do I need to forgive myself for? How did my actions align with my values? The key to effective journaling is honesty. Don't censor yourself or worry about how your thoughts might sound on paper. The more raw and authentic your reflections are, the more likely you are to uncover powerful insights. 2. Mind mapping, visualizing your thoughts. Mind mapping is a fantastic technique for those who are more visual learners or feel overwhelmed by the abstract nature of journaling. With mind mapping, you can create a visual representation of your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Start by writing down a central theme in the middle of a page, such as personal growth, relationships, or career goals. Then draw lines branching out from this central theme, representing different aspects of that area. For example, if your central theme is career goals, you might have branches labeled skills, opportunities, challenges, and values. From each of those branches, add sub-branches with more specific ideas. This method helps you see your thoughts in a structured way, making it easier to identify connections and patterns. It's a great technique for breaking down complex problems or setting clear goals. 3rd, meditation. The art of reflection through stillness. Meditation is another powerful method for purposeful reflection. While it's often associated with relaxation, meditation can also be a tool for deep reflection. By quieting the mind and focusing on your breath, you allow your subconscious to rise to the surface. A simple meditation for reflection might involve closing your eyes, sitting in a comfortable position, and focusing on your breath. Allow thoughts to come and go without judgment. When you feel ready, gently guide your thoughts toward a specific area of reflection. You might ask yourself, what am I avoiding in my life? Or, what have I learned from a recent setback? The power of meditation lies in the stillness. It helps you detach from the noise of everyday life and connect more deeply with your inner wisdom. With practice, meditation can help you gain clarity and insight into your true desires, fears, and values. Setting clear intentions for your reflection practice. As you begin your reflection practice, it's important to set clear intentions for what you hope to achieve. Without a clear goal in mind, reflection can quickly become a passive or aimless activity. Ask yourself, what do I want to gain from this reflection? Am I seeking personal growth, clarity on a specific decision, understanding my emotions, healing from past experiences? Your intentions will guide your reflection process, helping you focus on what matters most. They will also provide direction, ensuring that your reflections lead to actionable insights and real change. One helpful approach is to break your reflection process into regular intervals. For example, you could dedicate 1 week to reflecting on your career goals, another to your relationships, and another to your personal development. By focusing on one area at a time, you'll be able to dive deeper and make your reflections more meaningful. Reflection is not a passive process. It's a tool for empowerment, a way to take ownership of your life, and a way to shape your future with intentionality. The more you engage in purposeful reflection, the clearer your path will become. You'll begin to make more conscious decisions, align your actions with your values, and ultimately, create the life you truly desire. Chapter 4. Overcoming common barriers to reflection. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth, yet many of us resist it. In fact, even though we know reflection can help us understand ourselves, improve our decisions, and enhance our emotional well-being, most people avoid or struggle with it. This resistance isn't just due to laziness or lack of interest. It's rooted in a complex web of mental, emotional, and psychological barriers. These barriers are not always easy to recognize, but once you understand them, you can break through and unlock the true power of reflection. Why is it so hard to look inward? Why do we shy away from slowing down and considering the deeper layers of our emotions and thoughts? Let's start by understanding the common barriers that prevent reflection from becoming a regular and effective practice in our lives. The fear of facing the truth. One of the primary reasons people resist reflection is that they're afraid of what they might uncover. Reflection requires honesty, and sometimes that honesty can be uncomfortable. Looking inward means confronting things you might rather not think about. The mistakes you've made, the hurt you've caused, the dreams you've abandoned. It's much easier to ignore these uncomfortable truths than to face them head on. But here's the thing, avoiding these truths doesn't make them go away. In fact, the more you avoid them, the more power they hold over you. The longer you put off reflecting on your past, the longer those unresolved issues linger in your subconscious, shaping your behaviors and emotions in ways you may not even be aware of. By avoiding reflection, you're essentially giving these hidden thoughts and feelings control over your life. The fear of facing the truth can manifest in many ways: procrastination, distraction, denial, or even simply being too busy to sit down and reflect. But if you can push past that fear and engage in honest reflection, you'll find that the truth is often less frightening than you imagined. In fact, acknowledging difficult truths is the first step toward healing and growth. The fear of change. Another barrier that many people face when it comes to reflection is the fear of change. Change is uncomfortable, even when it's positive. It's much easier to stay in a familiar situation, even if it's not fulfilling or ideal, than to make the difficult choices that come with growth and change. When you reflect deeply, you start to realize things that might require you to make changes, whether it's in your relationships, your career, or your lifestyle. You might discover that the job you've been in for years doesn't align with your true passions, or that a long-term friendship is no longer healthy for you. These realizations can be difficult to accept and even harder to act upon. Reflection can bring up fears about the unknown. What will happen if I change my career? Will I regret leaving my comfort zone? How will others perceive me if I make different choices? These are all valid concerns, but they can also become paralyzing if you allow them to take over. When reflection brings up fear of change, it's important to remember that change is an inevitable part of life, and choosing to reflect on it with a growth mindset will enable you to handle it with confidence and clarity. Rather than focusing on the fear of what might happen, try shifting your mindset to embrace the possibility of growth. The discomfort of change is temporary, but the benefits of living authentically are lifelong. Reflection allows you to choose the path of change that aligns with your values, instead of being swept along by circumstances. The lack of time and space. One of the most common excuses people give for not reflecting regularly is the lack of time. In a world that values productivity and constant movement, taking time to reflect can feel like an indulgence. Between work, family obligations, social commitments, and personal tasks, it's easy to let reflection fall to the bottom of the priority list. The problem with this mindset is that when you don't make time for reflection, you inadvertently make time for mental clutter, the nagging thoughts, unresolved emotions, and unfinished business that take up mental space. The result is that your brain never gets the chance to process information deeply, and your mental and emotional energy gets drained by these constant distractions. Here's the truth. Reflection doesn't need to take hours of your time. In fact, you can practice powerful reflection in just 10 to 15 minutes a day. The key is to be intentional with the time you do have. Rather than thinking of reflection as an all-day process, consider it a quick but effective practice you can integrate into your daily routine. This could be a moment of reflection during your morning coffee, while walking to work, or before going to bed. The goal is to give your mind the space it needs to pause, breathe, and consider the bigger picture. By carving out intentional time for reflection, you'll notice that you feel more focused, less scattered, and more at ease. The time you invest in reflection will actually create more space in your mind and life, allowing you to be more productive and effective in the long run. The overwhelm of emotional intensity. Sometimes, reflection can stir up emotions that are so intense or overwhelming that it feels easier to avoid them altogether. We all have unresolved pain, trauma, or grief, and when we reflect, these emotions can surface unexpectedly. Whether it's the sting of a past failure, the hurt from a relationship, or the anxiety about a future decision, facing these emotions head-on can be overwhelming. For many, this emotional intensity is enough to stop them from reflecting. The emotional discomfort feels too great, and they would rather suppress these feelings than face them. However, avoiding these emotions doesn't allow them to heal. Instead, they fester and continue to impact your life, often showing up in subconscious ways that you may not even recognize. The key to overcoming this barrier is to approach reflection with self-compassion and patience. It's okay to feel overwhelmed during reflection. It's okay to take breaks if needed and revisit difficult thoughts at your own pace. Reflection is not about forcing yourself to deal with everything at once. It's about gently allowing yourself the space to feel, process, and heal over time. The desire for instant results. In today's fast-paced world, many people expect quick fixes, including when it comes to personal growth. We want results now, and this includes the benefits of reflection. If we sit down to reflect, we expect to have an epiphany or gain immediate clarity on the issues at hand. But reflection isn't a magic bullet. It's a process. While reflection can yield profound insights, these insights often take time to surface, and sometimes the results are subtle. You may not experience a dramatic aha moment every time you reflect, but that doesn't mean the practice isn't working. Reflection is cumulative. The more you engage with it, the more you'll notice its effects over time. By approaching reflection with a long-term mindset, rather than expecting instant results, you allow the process to work at its own pace. Trust that the insights and clarity you seek will come, but they may arrive slowly and steadily, like a small seed growing into a tree. Overcoming these barriers. Now that we've discussed the common barriers to reflection, the next step is strategizing how to overcome them. Each of these barriers can be addressed with intentional practices that gradually remove the obstacles to reflection, allowing you to engage more deeply with the process. Whether it's building the courage to face the truth, making time for reflection in your busy schedule, or learning how to handle emotional intensity, each barrier can be tackled with the right approach. Chapter 5. Developing a habit of reflection. Habits shape our lives. The things we do every day, whether it's the first cup of coffee we drink, the walk we take, or the morning routine we follow, create the framework for how we experience and engage with the world around us. Without habits, we'd be lost in a sea of randomness, unable to anchor ourselves to anything of real significance. And just as good habits can positively transform our lives, the habit of reflection can deeply influence our personal growth, emotional intelligence, and overall well-being. The challenge, however, is that building any new habit, especially one as intimate and introspective as reflection, takes time and intention. It's easy to say, "I'll start reflecting more often," but the true power of reflection lies in consistency. Reflection isn't something you do sporadically and expect profound results. It's something that must be woven into the fabric of your life, practiced daily, or at least on a regular basis. In this chapter, we'll explore how to build a reflection habit that lasts, what might get in the way, and how you can overcome these obstacles with ease and confidence. Why consistency matters in reflection. Before we dive into how to build a habit of reflection, let's understand why consistency is so crucial. Reflection is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. When you reflect regularly, you start to notice deeper layers in your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. You start to build a pattern of introspection that allows you to process your day-to-day life more effectively and learn from it. Here's an analogy. Imagine you're trying to learn a new language. If you study once a week, you may not make much progress. But if you dedicate a small amount of time to learning the language every day, even just 10 minutes a day, you'll find yourself becoming more fluent over time. Reflection works the same way. It's not about having a massive breakthrough every time you reflect. It's about the cumulative effect of engaging in reflection consistently. Over time, you begin to notice patterns in your life that you weren't aware of before, and these insights allow you to make intentional choices that lead to greater growth. Moreover, regular reflection sharpens your self-awareness. You start to recognize when you're slipping into old habits, when your thoughts aren't aligned with your goals, or when you're being held back by fears or insecurities. With consistent reflection, you develop a powerful ability to course correct, which allows you to stay aligned with your purpose and values. The science behind habit formation. Building a reflection habit may seem daunting, but it's important to remember that habit formation is a science, and like any science, it can be understood and applied. At the core of habit formation is the concept of the habit loop, a cycle that includes 3 key components: the cue, the routine, and the reward. Understanding this loop is essential for establishing a reflection habit that sticks. Cue. This is the trigger that reminds you to start your reflection practice. It could be a specific time of day, an event, like finishing a task, or a specific feeling, like a moment of stress or overwhelm. Routine. This is the actual act of reflection. It could involve journaling, meditating, or just sitting quietly and thinking about your day. Reward. This is the positive feeling or benefit you gain from reflecting. This could be a sense of clarity, emotional release, or the satisfaction of knowing that you've invested time in yourself. When you repeat this cycle consistently, your brain starts to recognize it as a habit. The more you reinforce the habit loop, the more automatic reflection becomes, and the easier it is to make it part of your daily routine. But forming a new habit doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and consistent effort. On average, it takes around 21 days to establish a new habit, but the time required can vary depending on the complexity of the behavior and your personal circumstances. The key here is to start small and be patient with yourself. It's better to reflect for just 5 minutes a day than to dive into hour-long sessions that feel overwhelming. Start with something manageable and gradually increase the time as your habit strengthens. Practical steps to build a reflection habit. Now that we understand the importance of consistency and the science of habit formation, let's break down the steps to actually build your reflection habit. The process is simple, but it requires commitment and dedication. Here's how you can make reflection a regular part of your life. 1. Start with a clear intention. Any habit-building process starts with a clear intention. Why do you want to reflect? What are you hoping to gain from this practice? Having a strong sense of purpose will keep you motivated even on days when you don't feel like reflecting. For example, you might decide to reflect daily to gain greater self-awareness, clarify your personal goals, improve emotional well-being, learn from mistakes and successes, make more intentional decisions. By setting a clear intention for why you're reflecting, you'll be more committed to the practice and more likely to see it through. This intention will act as a guiding force, reminding you of the deeper purpose behind your habit and helping you stay focused. 2. Create a ritual. Habits are easier to build when they're tied to a ritual or routine. A ritual is a set of actions or a structure that you follow every time you engage in the habit. Rituals give the habit a sense of consistency and meaning. For example, if you want to reflect in the morning, you could create a ritual around your morning routine. You could wake up 10 minutes earlier than usual, sit down with a cup of tea or coffee, set a timer for 5 minutes of reflection, write in a journal or meditate. Having a ritual makes the habit easier to remember and more likely to stick. It also helps to anchor reflection to something you already do regularly. If you have a regular morning routine or evening wind down, attaching reflection to this time slot will increase the chances of success. 3. Set a realistic time frame. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to build a new habit is setting unrealistic goals. The key is to start small and gradually build up. If you try to reflect for 30 minutes a day right from the start, you may become overwhelmed and give up. Instead, aim for just 5 minutes a day. You might think, 5 minutes isn't enough to make a difference. But the truth is, reflection is about consistency, not duration. 5 minutes is plenty of time to check in with yourself, evaluate your thoughts, and gain a quick sense of clarity. As the habit becomes ingrained, you can gradually increase the time, but starting small will make it easier to stick with the practice. 4. Track your progress. Tracking. Your progress is an excellent way to stay motivated and see how far you've come. Celebrate small wins along the way, whether that's reflecting for 7 consecutive days or feeling more emotionally grounded after your daily reflections. You can use a journal, an app, or even a simple calendar to track your progress. Mark off each day that you successfully reflect and give yourself credit for building a powerful habit. Tracking your progress also helps you stay accountable to yourself, making it more likely that you'll stick with the habit in the long term. Be gentle with yourself on difficult days. The process of building a reflection habit won't be perfect. There will be days when you're too busy, too tired, or too distracted to reflect. And that's okay. Building any new habit requires patience, and it's important to be gentle with yourself when things don't go as planned. Instead of berating yourself for missing a day, simply get back on track the next day. Remember, habits are about progress, not perfection. The more you practice reflection, the easier it becomes, and the more you'll learn to integrate it into your life. Building a habit of reflection is one of the most powerful things you can do for your personal growth and well-being. It gives you the space to connect with your true self, make more intentional decisions, and learn from your experiences. When reflection becomes a regular part of your life, it becomes a tool that helps you stay aligned with your values, clarify your goals, and cultivate emotional resilience. The process may take time, but with commitment, consistency, and patience, you will create a reflection habit that lasts. By dedicating just a few minutes a day to reflection, you're investing in your growth, your self-awareness, and your future. You have the power to transform your life, and it starts with making reflection a daily habit. Chapter 6. Practical techniques for reflection journaling is perhaps one of the most effective and widely used techniques for reflection. But it's not just about writing down what happened during your day or listing your to-dos. It's about creating a space for self-inquiry, exploration, and understanding. When done intentionally, journaling can reveal patterns in your thoughts, bring clarity to your emotions, and help you process complex experiences. The beauty of journaling lies in its simplicity. You don't need fancy equipment or a perfect environment to begin. All you need is a pen, paper, or a digital device, and the willingness to engage with yourself in an open, honest way. Journaling is a deeply personal practice that can take on many forms, depending on your needs and preferences. Finding your journaling style. Journaling is not a one-size-fits-all practice. There are many different ways to journal, and part of the journey is discovering which style works best for you. Here are some popular types of journaling techniques you might consider. 1. Free writing. This is perhaps the most liberating form of journaling. In free writing, you write without any specific agendas or structure. You allow your thoughts to flow naturally, writing whatever comes to mind. This technique is incredibly helpful for clearing mental clutter and processing emotions. It's a great option when you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, or simply need to get things off your chest. 2. Prompt-based journaling. If you're unsure what to write about, Prompts can guide you. Prompts can be simple questions such as, "What am I grateful for today?" or "What was the highlight of my week?" Prompt-based journaling provides structure and focus, helping you dive deeper into specific areas of your life. Prompts are especially useful when you feel stuck or unsure of where to begin your reflective practice. 3. Gratitude journaling. This form of journaling focuses on listing the things you're grateful for. Each day, you write down at least 3 things you're thankful for, no matter how big or small. Gratitude journaling is scientifically proven to boost happiness and emotional well-being by shifting your focus toward positive aspects of life. This practice helps you reframe challenges and reminds you of the goodness in your life, even on tough days. 4. Reflective journaling. Reflective journaling is where you examine your experiences in more depth. After a specific event or moment, you reflect on how it made you feel, what you learned from it, and what you might do differently in the future. This type of journaling encourages critical thinking and self-awareness. It helps you make sense of experiences and find meaning in both the positive and negative aspects of life. The power of consistency in journaling. While journaling itself is a powerful tool, the true magic happens when you do it consistently. The more often you journal, the more you'll gain from the practice. Regular journaling helps you uncover patterns in your thoughts and behaviors, which allows you to make more intentional decisions moving forward. Consistency is key because it allows you to build a deeper connection with yourself over time. You'll start to see recurring themes in your reflections, and this will help you identify areas of your life that may need attention, change, or growth. Just like with any habit, the more you show up for yourself through journaling, the more you'll reap the benefits. It's important to remember that there is no right way to journal. The goal is not perfection, but progress. You don't have to write every day, and your writing doesn't need to be profound. The mere act of engaging with yourself through writing is enough. Over time, your journal will become a mirror of your inner world, providing a rich source of insights and clarity. How to make journaling a habit. Building a journaling habit can be challenging at first, especially if it feels like one more thing to add to your already packed schedule. However, with the right strategies, you can make journaling an easy and fulfilling part of your routine. Here are some tips to help you create a sustainable journaling habit. 1. Set a specific time each day. Just like any other habit, journaling is easier when you integrate it into a specific time slot. Choose a time of day that works best for you, whether it's in the morning to set your intentions for the day or in the evening to reflect on what happened. 2. Start small. You don't need to write pages and pages every time you journal. In fact, starting with just a few sentences can be incredibly powerful. Set a goal to write for 5 minutes a day and gradually increase the time as you become more comfortable with the practice. 3. Keep it simple. Don't worry about fancy formats, grammar, or spelling. The goal of journaling is not to create a masterpiece, but to explore your thoughts and feelings. Keep it raw and honest. 4. Create a comfortable space. While journaling doesn't require a special environment, it can be helpful to create a quiet, comfortable space where you can focus. This might be a cozy corner in your home, or a peaceful spot outside where you can sit and reflect. 5. Track your progress. Consider keeping a log or checklist to track your journaling consistency. This will help you stay motivated and hold yourself accountable. Celebrate small milestones, such as journaling for 7 days straight or completing a full month of daily reflections. Part 2. Meditation as a tool for reflection. Another powerful technique for reflection is meditation. Meditation is a practice that has been used for thousands of years to increase mindfulness, reduce stress, and promote inner peace. But beyond its calming benefits, meditation is also an excellent tool for self-reflection. Meditation helps you quiet your mind and create a space where you can observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. This observation allows you to gain clarity on your emotions, reactions, and behaviors. By sitting with your thoughts in a meditative state, you can learn to detach from them and gain a deeper understanding of your inner world. How to meditate for reflection. While meditation can seem intimidating at first, it's actually a simple practice that anyone can do. The goal of meditation is not to completely empty your mind, which is nearly impossible, but to observe your thoughts and allow them to pass without attachment. Here's a simple guide to using meditation for reflection. 1. Find a quiet space. Sit in a comfortable position, either on a chair or on the floor with your back straight and your hands resting on your lap. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. 2. Focus on your breath. Begin by bringing your attention to your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. Focus on the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. 3. Notice your thoughts. As you meditate, you'll notice thoughts starting to pop up. Rather than trying to push them away, simply observe them. Acknowledge them without judgment and let them pass, returning your focus to your breath. 5. Ask reflective questions. During meditation, you can also ask yourself reflective questions. For example, how do I feel about the situation I'm facing right now? Or, what can I learn from this experience? These questions allow you to dive deeper into your subconscious and uncover insights that may not be immediately accessible. 5. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the act of being fully present in the moment. As you meditate, try to be aware of the sensations in your body, the sounds around you, and your emotional state. This will help you become more in tune with your thoughts and feelings, leading to greater clarity and understanding. Benefits of meditation for reflection. Meditation offers several benefits that enhance the reflective process. Increased mindfulness. Meditation helps you stay present in the moment, which is crucial for effective reflection. When you're present, you can better observe your thoughts and reactions without getting swept away by them. Emotional clarity. Meditation helps you clear away emotional clutter and gain clarity about how you're feeling. This allows you to better understand your emotions and make more intentional decisions. Reduced stress. Meditation helps calm your nervous system and reduce stress, which can make it easier to reflect without feeling overwhelmed or anxious. Improved self-awareness. As you meditate, you'll become more attuned to your thoughts, feelings, and reactions. This self-awareness is the foundation of effective reflection. By incorporating meditation into your reflective practice, you'll create a powerful combination of tools that help you dive deeper into your inner world. Meditation quiets the mind, while journaling provides a space for exploration and expression. Together, these techniques offer a holistic approach to reflection that can transform the way you understand yourself and engage with the world around you. Chapter 7. The Role of Reflection in Personal Growth. Reflection is a powerful tool that can unlock deep personal growth, but often we don't realize just how much of an impact it has on our journey. Too often, we become caught up in the daily hustle, running from one task to the next, rarely pausing to truly reflect on who we are, what we've done, and where we're headed. Without this vital pause, personal growth can feel like a distant dream or something elusive that we can't quite grasp. But reflection allows us to slow down, take a deep breath, and genuinely engage with our inner world. It provides the insight needed to make informed decisions, embrace growth opportunities, and step into the future with clarity and confidence. Part 1. Understanding the link between reflection and personal growth. To understand the role of reflection in personal growth, we need to first acknowledge that personal growth is not a one-time event or a series of achievements. It's an ongoing process. It's about becoming more self-aware, gaining new perspectives, and learning from our experiences. It's about changing the way we think, feel, and act over time, not just checking off milestones on a list. Reflection plays a fundamental role in this ongoing journey. It's the lens through which we examine our thoughts, behaviors, and decisions. Without reflection, we may find ourselves repeating the same mistakes, staying stuck in old patterns, or missing opportunities for improvement. Reflection helps us pause, process, and assess our experiences, allowing us to make course corrections, reframe our mindset, and continuously evolve. The power of self-awareness. Self-awareness is one of the core pillars of personal growth. Without it, we're like ships without a rudder, drifting without direction. Reflection is the practice that helps us develop and nurture self-awareness. When we take the time to reflect, we can examine our thoughts, emotions, and reactions with a level of objectivity. This allows us to understand our strengths, weaknesses, triggers, and desires more clearly. Through reflection, we gain insight into why we act the way we do. It's not just about recognizing that we're afraid of failure or that we avoid difficult conversations. It's about understanding the deeper reasons behind these behaviors. Perhaps we learned to avoid conflict as a child, or maybe we fear failure because we've internalized past criticism. By becoming aware of these underlying factors, we can begin to work through them, challenge limiting beliefs, and replace old patterns with healthier ones. Clarifying your values and goals. Reflection also helps us clarify what's truly important to us. Our values are the foundation upon which we build our lives, yet many of us go through life without fully understanding what those values are or how they influence our decisions. Through reflection, we can begin to identify the values that guide our choices, determine what we're passionate about, and recognize areas where we may be out of alignment with our true selves. Once we've identified our core values, we can set goals that are aligned with them. Reflection helps us not only define our aspirations, but also evaluate whether they are truly meaningful to us or if they've been influenced by external pressures, such as societal expectations or the opinions of others. When our goals are aligned with our values, we are more likely to feel fulfilled and motivated as we work toward them. Part 2. Reflection as a tool for overcoming challenges. Personal growth isn't always a smooth path. Life presents us with numerous challenges, some of which may feel insurmountable. These challenges can lead to feelings of frustration, doubt, and helplessness. But reflection can be a powerful tool for navigating these difficult times and turning adversity into opportunity. Learning from failure is an inevitable part of life, but it doesn't have to define us. When we experience setbacks or failures, it's natural to feel disheartened, but reflection allows us to reframe failure as a learning experience. Instead of viewing failure as something to avoid or be ashamed of, we can see it as a stepping stone on the path to personal growth. Through reflection, we can ask ourselves important questions such as, what went wrong? What can I learn from this experience? How can I approach the situation differently next time? These questions allow us to extract valuable lessons from our failures and use them as fuel for future success. Failure, when viewed through the lens of reflection, becomes a catalyst for growth, helping us build resilience and determination as we move forward. Resilience and adaptability. Reflection also plays a key role in building resilience and adaptability. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and the ability to adapt to change is crucial for personal growth. When we reflect on past challenges and how we've overcome them, we strengthen our ability to face future obstacles with confidence. Reflection helps us recognize the strengths and coping strategies we've developed over time, which can provide a sense of empowerment when facing new difficulties. Additionally, reflection allows us to identify patterns in how we respond to challenges. Do we tend to give up easily? do we shy away from discomfort? Or do we rise to the occasion, taking each challenge as an opportunity to grow? By recognizing these patterns, we can begin to make intentional changes to our approach, choosing more adaptive and resourceful responses when life throws us curveballs. Part 3. Reflection as a pathway to self-compassion. Personal growth often involves a deep level of self-compassion. Growth is not just about achieving external success, but about developing an inner sense of peace, kindness, and acceptance toward ourselves. Reflection is a key practice in cultivating self-compassion because it encourages us to examine our thoughts and actions with kindness rather than judgment. When we reflect on our experiences, it's easy to become critical of ourselves, especially if we've made mistakes or encountered setbacks. However, reflection is most effective when we approach it with a non-judgmental attitude. By being gentle with ourselves and practicing self-compassion, we open ourselves up to learning, growth, and healing. Reflection allows us to accept ourselves as we are without the need for perfection, while also recognizing the areas where we can improve. Cultivating a growth mindset. A crucial component of self-compassion is the development of a growth mindset. When we have a growth mindset, we believe that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. Reflection fosters a growth mindset by helping us focus on progress rather than perfection. It encourages us to view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than as signs of failure. In a growth mindset, mistakes and setbacks are seen as valuable experiences that contribute to our development. Reflection helps us embrace this mindset by allowing us to assess our progress and recognize how far we've come. It reminds us that growth is a journey, and every step along the way, whether big or small, is an important part of the process. Part 4. The role of reflection in relationships. Personal growth isn't just about self-awareness and individual progress. It also involves the ability to build meaningful, fulfilling relationships with others. Reflection plays a pivotal role in the way we relate to others, helping us understand how our actions, words, and behaviors impact those around us. Improving communication. Reflecting on our interactions with others can reveal areas where we can improve our communication skills. Are we actively listening to others, or are we simply waiting for our turn to speak? Do we express ourselves clearly, or do we struggle to articulate our thoughts? Reflection allows us to assess how we communicate and identify opportunities to improve our interactions. By regularly reflecting on our conversations, we can recognize patterns in our communication, whether they're positive or negative, and make intentional changes. Reflection helps us become more mindful of how we engage with others, fostering better understanding, empathy, and connection. Building empathy and understanding. In addition to improving communication, reflection enhances our ability to empathize with others. When we reflect on our relationships, we can step into the shoes of those around us and try to understand their thoughts, feelings, and perspectives. This practice of empathy helps build stronger, more compassionate relationships. By reflecting on our own experiences and how they shape our interactions, we can become more attuned to the needs and emotions of others. Chapter 8. Reflection in Action. How to implement reflection in daily life. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to overlook the power of the small moments that occur throughout our day. Reflection doesn't always need to happen in a quiet room with a journal in hand. In fact, some of the most impactful reflections occur in the midst of daily life, in the moments when we least expect them. Whether you're commuting to work, preparing a meal, or taking a short break, you have countless opportunities for brief, yet powerful reflections. Incorporating these small moments of reflection into your daily routine can create a profound shift in how you engage with the world. The key is to build reflection into the flow of your day without feeling overwhelmed or burdened. Reflection doesn't have to take hours. Sometimes, a minute of introspection is all it takes to recenter yourself, gain clarity, and maintain focus. Mindful moments. During routine activities. One of the easiest ways to integrate reflection into your day is by practicing mindfulness during your regular activities. You don't need to carve out extra time for reflection if you can use the moments you already have. Here are some simple ways to practice mindfulness and reflection during your routine. 1. While eating. Eating is an essential daily activity, but it's often done mindlessly. Instead of rushing through meals, take a few moments to reflect on your experience. How does the food make you feel? What emotions are arising? Are you truly savoring the taste, or are you simply going through the motions? Use this time to engage with your senses, noticing the texture, aroma, and flavor of your food. As you do so, reflect on how it nourishes both your body and mind. 2. During your commute. Whether you're driving, walking, or taking public transportation, your commute is an opportunity to pause and reflect. It's easy to get lost in thoughts or distractions during this time, but it's also a great moment to check in with yourself. As you move through your commute, ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What thoughts are running through my mind? What am I looking forward to today? This practice helps you start your day with intention and gives you the mental space to reflect on your current emotional state. 3. While showering or bathing. The simple act of showering can be a reflective experience. As water flows over you, think about the thoughts and feelings that arise. Consider the events of the day ahead or what you've recently been going through. Use this time to practice self-compassion and reset your mind before diving into the demands of the day. Reflection in the shower is not only calming, but also helps you gain perspective and clarity in the quiet moments before you start your day. Mini meditations. Throughout the day, meditation is often associated with sitting in silence for extended periods, but it can also be practiced in smaller, more manageable bursts throughout the day. Mini meditations are short moments where you pause to check in with your body and mind. These moments can occur as you stand in line, wait for your computer to load, or sip your coffee. By simply taking a deep breath and becoming aware of your present state, whether it's your body's tension, your emotional temperature, or your thoughts, you're giving yourself permission to reflect and reconnect with the present moment. Even a 30-second pause to check in with yourself can be incredibly grounding and centering. These small meditative moments help you stay aligned with your goals, emotions, and overall well-being. Part 2. Building reflection into your daily routine. To create a meaningful habit of reflection, it's important to build it into your daily routine. Establishing a daily reflection practice doesn't need to be time-consuming or overwhelming. It's about consistency and commitment to showing up for yourself each day, even if it's just for a few minutes. A helpful way to start is by identifying key moments in your day where you can incorporate reflection. These moments can serve as triggers to remind you to pause, breathe, and reflect. Some of these key moments might include morning reflection. Start your day by reflecting on your intentions and mindset. Before diving into the demands of the day, take a few minutes to center yourself. Reflect on the following questions. How am I feeling today? What do I want to achieve today? What values will guide my actions today? What am I grateful for this morning? These questions help you set a positive tone for the day, focusing on what truly matters. Morning reflection also primes your mind for success by helping you align your actions with your deeper values and goals. Even if you can only spare 5 minutes, this morning reflection can make a big difference in how you approach your day. Midday check-in. As the day unfolds, it's easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle. A midday check-in allows you to pause and assess how you're feeling. You might ask yourself, how is my energy right now? What has been the highlight of my day so far? Is there anything I need to let go of? Do I need a break or some time to recharge? This midday reflection helps you maintain focus and mindfulness throughout the day. It provides an opportunity to reset, refocus, and recalibrate your approach. If you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, taking a few minutes to check in with yourself can help you course correct and continue your day with more clarity. Evening reflection. Before heading to bed, take some time to reflect on your day. Evening reflection is a wonderful way to process the events of the day and assess your progress. Here are a few questions to consider. What went well today? What challenges did I face, and how did I handle them? What did I learn today? What am I grateful for tonight? Evening reflection not only helps you celebrate your wins, but also helps you process any difficult moments, ensuring that you don't carry unresolved emotions or stress into the next day. By reviewing your day, you can identify areas for growth, acknowledge your achievements, and set a positive intention for tomorrow. Part 3. Using journaling as a daily reflection practice. Journaling is one of the most effective tools for reflection. Writing down your thoughts allows you to clarify your emotions, track your progress, and gain insights into your daily experiences. However, many people feel overwhelmed at the thought of journaling regularly. They may fear that they don't have enough time or that they don't know what to write about. The key to making journaling a consistent practice is simplicity. Journaling doesn't need to be an elaborate process. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely you are to stick with it. You don't need to write long paragraphs every day. Just jotting down a few sentences can be enough to help you reflect. Here are some simple journaling prompts to help guide your reflection practice. 1. Gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you are grateful for today. This helps you end the day on a positive note and focus on the good things, no matter how small they may seem. 2. Daily wins. Reflect on what you accomplished today, no matter how minor it may seem. Celebrating even small victories can help boost your sense of achievement and motivation. 3. Lessons learned. Write about one lesson you learned today. Whether it was from a success or a mistake, reflecting on the lessons you've learned helps you grow and apply those insights in the future. 4th mindset. Reflection. Reflect on your emotional and mental state. Ask yourself how you're feeling and why, and explore any patterns or triggers that may have influenced your mood. Remember, journaling is for you, not for anyone else. Don't worry about making it perfect or having the right things to say. The purpose is to express yourself honestly and reflect on your experiences. Over time, journaling can become a powerful tool for self-awareness and growth. Chapter 9. Overcoming obstacles through reflection. Obstacles are an inevitable part of life. Whether they appear in the form of personal struggles, setbacks at work, relationship issues, or unexpected challenges, everyone faces moments where they feel stuck or overwhelmed. However, what often separates those who navigate these obstacles successfully from those who feel defeated is the ability to use reflection as a tool for growth and transformation. When we face obstacles, it's natural to feel frustrated, discouraged, or even hopeless at times. It's easy to see challenges as roadblocks that stop us in our tracks, preventing progress and happiness. But what if we reframed our perspective? What if obstacles weren't just problems to be solved, but opportunities for deep personal growth? Reflection allows us to pause and consider the obstacle from a fresh perspective. Instead of immediately reacting with frustration or panic, we can take a moment to understand why this challenge has presented itself and how we might approach it in a way that promotes growth. In every difficult situation, there is an opportunity to reflect, learn, and evolve. Reflection doesn't just help us cope with obstacles, it helps us transcend them, allowing us to rise above the difficulty and emerge stronger and more capable than before. It provides the tools to move from a place of frustration to a place of empowerment. Why we resist obstacles. We all have a natural instinct to avoid discomfort and pain. When life throws us an obstacle, whether it's a personal struggle or an external challenge, our first impulse is often to resist it. We might try to ignore the problem, avoid facing it, or wish it would simply disappear. This resistance can keep us stuck, as we expend energy avoiding the reality of the situation instead of facing it head-on. Reflection teaches us that resistance is often the very thing that prolongs our suffering. By resisting an obstacle, we create unnecessary stress and prolong our emotional discomfort. On the other hand, when we use reflection to engage with the obstacle, we create space for understanding and healing. Reflection allows us to examine why we're resisting the challenge in the first place. Is it because we fear failure? Is it because we're afraid of the unknown? Or perhaps it's because we're worried about how others might perceive us. By recognizing the root causes of our resistance, we can address them directly, which enables us to face obstacles with courage, clarity, and a sense of agency. Part 2. The power of perspective in overcoming obstacles. Reflection gives us the power of perspective, the ability to step back and view an obstacle from a different angle. Sometimes, when we're in the middle of a problem, we become so immersed in it that we fail to see the bigger picture. Reflection allows us to zoom out and see how this challenge fits into the broader context of our lives. Reframing the obstacle. One of the most transformative aspects of reflection is its ability to help us reframe our experiences. Reframing is the process of changing the way we interpret a situation. Instead of viewing an obstacle as an insurmountable problem, reflection allows us to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. For example, if you're dealing with a setback at work, instead of seeing it as a failure, you might reflect on how this situation could be a valuable learning experience. You might ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I improve moving forward? What strengths do I need to cultivate to better handle similar challenges in the future? This shift in perspective allows us to stop seeing ourselves as victims of our circumstances and instead take ownership of our growth. Reflection helps us realize that obstacles aren't permanent. They are simply stepping stones on the path to something greater. The role of emotional awareness. Overcoming obstacles requires emotional resilience, the ability to navigate difficult feelings and not be overwhelmed by them. Reflection plays a crucial role in developing this emotional resilience. When we reflect on our emotions in the face of a challenge, we can begin to recognize patterns in how we respond. Are we reacting impulsively, or are we responding with a sense of awareness and intention? By reflecting on our emotional responses, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our triggers. This self-awareness empowers us to choose how we react to challenges, rather than being controlled by our emotions. Reflection helps us process our feelings, release emotional baggage, and approach obstacles with a calm, focused mindset. When we reflect on how we feel, we acknowledge the pain, frustration, or fear that may come with facing an obstacle. Instead of suppressing these emotions, we allow ourselves to sit with them, understand them, and learn from them. In doing so, we build emotional resilience and create a foundation of strength that helps us face future challenges with greater ease. Part 3. Practical reflection techniques for overcoming obstacles. While the idea of reflection might sound abstract, there are many practical techniques you can use to implement reflection in your daily life, especially when faced with obstacles. These methods help you move from being stuck in a problem to actively working through it with intention and mindfulness. Journaling for clarity. One of the most effective ways to use reflection in overcoming obstacles is through journaling. Journaling allows you to externalize your thoughts and emotions, making them easier to process and understand. When faced with an obstacle, set aside time to write about your thoughts and feelings related to the situation. This process can help you gain clarity and insight into what's really going on beneath the surface. Some journaling prompts to help you reflect on an obstacle include: what is the nature of this obstacle? Start by describing the problem in detail. Be specific about what's happening, how it's affecting you, and what you've tried so far. What emotions am I experiencing? Reflect on how the situation is making you feel. Are you angry, frustrated, or overwhelmed? Writing about your emotions helps you process them and avoid being consumed by them. What lessons can I learn from this obstacle? Think about how you can reframe the obstacle as an opportunity for growth. What might you learn by going through this experience? What actions can I take to move forward? Reflect on the concrete steps you can take to address the obstacle. What is within your control? What resources or support do you need to overcome it? By journaling through these prompts, you can move from feeling stuck to feeling empowered and focused on actionable solutions. Mindful reflection practices. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment with curiosity and non-judgment. When facing an obstacle, mindfulness can help you acknowledge the problem without becoming overwhelmed by it. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. Here are some mindfulness practices that can help you reflect on and overcome obstacles. Breathing exercises. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. As you breathe, focus on the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. This practice calms the mind and helps you create space for reflection. Body scan. Perform a body scan by paying attention to each part of your body, noticing any areas of tension or discomfort. This can help you become aware of the physical manifestations of stress or anxiety caused by the obstacle, allowing you to release that tension. Visualization. Visualize yourself successfully overcoming the obstacle. Imagine how you would feel once the challenge is resolved. What steps are you taking to get there? How do you carry yourself through the process? Visualization helps you feel more confident and proactive. Part 4. Using reflection to build long-term resilience. While reflection is incredibly useful in overcoming immediate obstacles, it also plays a significant role in building long-term resilience. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from a single challenge. It's about developing the mental, emotional, and physical strength to face whatever life throws at you. Reflection is the foundation of this resilience, as it allows you to learn from every challenge you encounter, no matter how big or small. Tracking your progress. One of the best ways to build long-term resilience is by tracking your progress over time. Use reflection to look back on obstacles you've overcome in the past. By acknowledging the difficulties you've already faced and how you navigated them, you gain a sense of accomplishment and confidence. Ask yourself, what have I learned from previous challenges? How did I cope with setbacks in the past? What strengths did I demonstrate during tough times? By reflecting on past successes and setbacks, you build a resilient mindset that enables you to face future challenges with greater calm and determination. You'll come to realize that obstacles are not barriers, but opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. It seems you're asking for a continuation of the chapter with a detailed, engaging, and immersive narrative structure. Given your request for a long-form response of 15,000 characters for each chapter, it would take a lot of space to deliver the desired depth and context while maintaining readability. While I can provide a long and detailed chapter or section that is substantial and immersive, keeping in mind the word length, it will still be divided in portions over time due to platform limitations. Here's the continuation of Chapter 9 on Overcoming Obstacles Through Reflection. Part 2. This will follow the guidelines you've set and ensure it's engaging and helpful. Part 2. Shifting your mindset for overcoming obstacles. Overcoming obstacles often requires not just external action, but an internal shift, specifically, a shift in mindset. our mindset plays a fundamental role in how we respond to adversity. In fact, it's often the difference between those who feel defeated and those who feel empowered in the face of challenges. Understanding how to harness the power of mindset through reflection can completely transform the way we approach obstacles in our lives. The fixed versus growth mindset. One of the most profound insights into overcoming obstacles through reflection comes from the work of psychologist Carol Dweck, who introduced the concepts of the fixed and growth mindsets. People with a fixed mindset tend to believe that their abilities, intelligence, and traits are set in stone. They view challenges and setbacks as confirmation of their limitations. For them, obstacles feel like roadblocks, signaling their inability to succeed. This type of mindset can often lead to frustration, a lack of motivation, and an avoidance of trying again after failure. In contrast, those with a growth mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. This mindset allows individuals to see obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than as barriers to success. When we face a challenge, reflection helps us determine which mindset we're operating from and whether we need to make a shift to a growth-oriented perspective. Here's how to do that. 1. Acknowledge the obstacles. Instead of denying the existence of obstacles, acknowledge them for what they are: temporary challenges that you have the power to overcome. Reflection helps you face these obstacles with honesty, and by acknowledging them, you open the door to possible solutions and growth. 2. Examine your reactions. Reflect on how you typically respond to obstacles. Do you give up easily? Do you see failure as a reflection of your identity? Acknowledging these reactions through reflection allows you to identify whether you're operating from a fixed mindset. 3. Reframe the challenge. Shift your perspective to one of opportunity. Instead of viewing obstacles as negative or discouraging, see them as chances to learn new skills, develop resilience, and strengthen your resolve. Reflection allows you to reframe an obstacle, transforming it into an empowering experience. 4. Focus on effort, not results. People with a growth mindset focus on the process, not just the outcome. Reflecting on the effort you're putting in, rather than solely on the result, can take the pressure off and help you appreciate the journey toward overcoming obstacles. Part 3. How reflection builds emotional resilience. Another vital aspect of overcoming obstacles is emotional resilience, the ability to maintain emotional balance in the face of adversity. We all face moments of emotional turmoil when things don't go according to plan. These emotional reactions, whether they are anger, fear, frustration, or sadness, are entirely normal. However, it's how we process and manage these emotions that determines whether we stay stuck or bounce back stronger. The role of reflection in emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is not something we're born with. It's a skill that we can develop over time, and reflection plays a key role in building it. When we face obstacles, our emotions can become overwhelming. The first step is often to take a pause, breathe, and reflect on what's happening within us. Reflection helps us acknowledge our emotions without letting them dictate our actions. Here's how reflection can foster emotional resilience. 1. Recognize your emotions. Often, when we encounter obstacles, we react impulsively, driven by strong emotions. Through reflection, we create the space to name those emotions. Are we feeling frustrated, anxious, sad, or even angry? Simply identifying what we're feeling can take away some of the emotional charge and help us respond more thoughtfully. 2. Understand the source. Reflection doesn't stop at identifying emotions. It goes deeper by encouraging us to explore why we're feeling the way we are. Are there past experiences influencing our reactions? Are we projecting fears of failure onto the current challenge? Understanding the root of our emotions helps us gain clarity and perspective on the obstacle itself. Third challenge. Negative thinking. Emotional resilience also involves challenging negative thoughts that arise when facing obstacles. Often, our minds become filled with catastrophic thinking, the belief that this one obstacle will derail our entire future. Reflection allows us to counteract these negative thought patterns by examining their validity. Are the worst-case scenarios likely? What is a more balanced or optimistic way of viewing the situation? 4. Practice self-compassion. Reflection encourages self-compassion by reminding us to be gentle with ourselves in the face of difficulty. Overcoming obstacles isn't always easy, and it's important to recognize that it's okay to struggle. Self-compassion helps us bounce back from setbacks without self-criticism or shame. Part 4. Taking reflective action to move forward. Reflection alone is powerful, but it's the action that follows reflection that ultimately leads to progress. After engaging in reflective thinking, the next step is to translate that insight into tangible steps. The process of reflection helps us gain clarity on what's needed to move forward, but without action, the lessons learned will remain abstract and unhelpful. Actionable steps for overcoming obstacles. 1. Break down the obstacle. Reflection allows you to look at the obstacle from different angles, but it's also essential to break it down into manageable pieces. Instead of focusing on the entire challenge, reflect on the small steps you can take. What's one action you can take today that will move you closer to overcoming this obstacle? 2. Set realistic goals. Once you've reflected on the obstacle, it's time to set specific, realistic goals. Ask yourself, what's the end result I want to achieve? How can I break this down into smaller, achievable milestones? Goal setting helps you maintain momentum and gives you something concrete to work toward. 3. Take incremental action. Overcoming obstacles is rarely about making huge leaps all at once. It's about consistent, incremental action. Reflection helps you identify what action steps will bring you closer to your goal, but it's your daily persistent effort that creates the real transformation. Commit to taking small steps every day toward overcoming the challenge. 4. Evaluate and adjust. As you begin to take action, reflection doesn't stop. Regularly evaluate your progress and reflect on whether your actions are bringing you closer to your goal. If something isn't working, be willing to adjust your approach. Reflection provides the ongoing feedback necessary to stay on track. Part 5. Reflection as a long-term strategy for success. The ability to reflect on obstacles and turn them into stepping stones isn't just a short-term tool. It's a lifelong strategy for personal success. The more you engage in the process of reflection, the more it becomes second nature. Over time, you'll develop a resilience and wisdom that will serve you well in all areas of life. Reflection teaches you to embrace challenges, not fear them. It shifts your mindset from one of avoidance to one of empowerment. When obstacles arise, rather than feeling defeated or overwhelmed, you'll feel equipped to handle them with grace and strength. Ultimately, the practice of overcoming obstacles through reflection enables you to lead a life of continuous growth and fulfillment. Instead of avoiding challenges, you'll see them as opportunities for transformation and self-discovery. The obstacles you face today become the lessons and successes of tomorrow. Chapter 10. Leveraging reflection for personal growth and transformation. Personal growth is often described as a lifelong journey. In many ways, it is. But what if we told you that this journey could be deeply enhanced by reflection? What if reflection could act as a powerful tool that allows you to not only understand who you are at a deeper level, but also unlock your full potential? The truth is that reflection is an essential cornerstone of personal growth and transformation. It helps you develop a deeper awareness of yourself, your motivations, your actions, and your goals. Self-discovery doesn't always happen through grand experiences or turning points in life. In fact, some of the most significant insights into our lives can come from those quiet, introspective moments where we simply stop, breathe, and reflect on our experiences. You see, reflection is like looking at your life through a lens of clarity. When you take time to reflect, you become an observer of your own story, allowing you to recognize patterns, challenge assumptions, and embrace your true potential. Personal growth requires a consistent effort to evolve, adapt, and improve. It isn't something that happens overnight. However, by reflecting on your progress, setbacks, and achievements, you can create a roadmap for your growth journey. You can measure where you've been, understand where you are now, and figure out where you want to go. Each reflection becomes a small step forward toward the best version of yourself. Reflection creates the bridge between who you were and who you can become. The idea of personal transformation might seem daunting at first, but when approached with a mindset of curiosity and growth, it becomes a powerful and empowering process. Let's explore how you can leverage reflection to enhance your personal development and transformation. Part 2. Embracing change and letting go of limiting beliefs. One of the fundamental obstacles to personal growth is the presence of limiting beliefs. These are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what we're capable of, and what we deserve. Limiting beliefs often come from past experiences, societal expectations, or self-doubt, and they act as invisible barriers that prevent us from reaching our true potential. Reflection plays a key role in uncovering and dismantling these limiting beliefs. When you reflect on your life, you start to notice the recurring thoughts that hold you back. It could be something like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm too old to change." These thoughts might be so ingrained in your psyche that you don't even realize they are limiting your potential. But through reflection, you gain the clarity and insight needed to challenge and replace them with empowering beliefs. Here's how you can use reflection to break free from limiting beliefs. 1. Acknowledge the belief. The first step is to become aware of the belief. Reflect on the areas of your life where you feel stuck or unable to progress. Ask yourself, what belief is driving this feeling? What is the story I'm telling myself that's preventing me from taking action or moving forward? 2. Challenge the belief. Once you've identified the limiting belief, ask yourself whether it is true. Is there any evidence to support this belief? What would happen if you let go of it? Often, when we question our limiting beliefs, we find that they are based on assumptions or past experiences that no longer serve us. 3. Reframe the belief. Reflection gives you the space to reframe your belief into something more empowering. Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," reframe it as, "I am capable of learning and growing, and I have the potential to succeed." This shift in perspective creates new possibilities and opens the door to change. 4. Take action to prove the belief wrong. Reflection alone won't change your beliefs. You need to take intentional action to prove the new, empowering belief true. Start with small steps that challenge the old belief and show yourself that you are capable of growth and success. Part 3. Reflection as a tool for setting and achieving goals. Reflection is not just about looking back at the past. It is also a powerful tool for creating a roadmap for the future. When it comes to setting and achieving goals, reflection plays a critical role in helping you clarify your intentions and understand what it will take to achieve your aspirations. Without reflection, it's easy to set vague, uninspired goals that lack direction. But when you engage in reflective thinking, you gain a deeper understanding of what you truly want and why. Reflection helps you identify the goals that align with your values and passions, ensuring that your pursuits are not only meaningful, but also achievable. Here's how you can use reflection to set and achieve your personal goals. 1. Clarify your values. The first step in goal setting is to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What brings you fulfillment and joy? When your goals are aligned with your values, they feel more purposeful, and you're more likely to stay motivated through the challenges. 2. Visualize your future. Take time to imagine the future you want to create. Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, or 20 years? What does success look like for you? Reflection allows you to paint a vivid picture of your ideal life, which can serve as a compass for your goal-setting process. 3. Break goals into actionable steps. Reflection allows you to break down your larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. By reflecting on the steps you'll need to take, you can create a detailed plan of action. This helps you avoid feeling overwhelmed and gives you a clear path forward. 4. Monitor your progress. Regular reflection on your progress helps you stay on track and make adjustments if necessary. You can reflect on what's working, what isn't, and how you can tweak your approach. Reflection also helps you celebrate your successes along the way, which builds momentum and keeps you focused on your goal. 5. Learn from setbacks. Not every step toward your goal will be smooth sailing. There will be setbacks, obstacles, and moments of failure, but these are also opportunities for growth. Through reflection, you can learn from your setbacks and use them as stepping stones toward eventual success. Reflection encourages you to see challenges not as failures, but as part of the learning process. Part 4. Reflection and the power of habit. Formation habits are the building blocks of personal growth. Whether you're trying to develop a new skill, break a bad habit, or improve your overall well-being, reflection can serve as a powerful tool for habit formation. It allows you to understand the triggers that influence your behavior, the patterns that need to be changed, and the strategies that will make new habits stick. Reflection helps you become more aware of your habits, giving you the insight needed to create lasting change. The more you reflect on your habits, the more you understand why you act the way you do, and this awareness is the first step in creating healthier, more productive habits. Here's how reflection can support habit formation. 1. Identify your current habits. Reflect on your daily routines and behaviors. What habits do you currently have that support your growth? What habits are holding you back? Understanding your existing habits is crucial in making informed decisions about which ones to keep and which to change. 2. Pinpoint triggers. Many of our habits are triggered by specific events, emotions, or environmental cues. Through reflection, you can pinpoint these triggers and work to replace them with healthier alternatives. For example, if you tend to snack mindlessly while watching TV, reflection can help you realize that the trigger is boredom. Once you identify this, you can create a strategy to replace the unhealthy habit with something more productive, like stretching or journaling. 3. Track your progress. Reflection allows you to track your progress as you work on forming new habits. By looking back on your successes, you reinforce your sense of accomplishment. This positive reinforcement helps you stay motivated and committed to your goals. 4. Celebrate small wins. Building new habits takes time, but reflection allows you to celebrate the small victories along the way. Whether it's making it through a week of daily meditation or choosing healthy meals for a month, these small wins deserve recognition. Reflection helps you see how far you've come, which boosts your confidence and encourages you to keep going. Part 5. The lifelong journey of reflection and growth. Personal growth and transformations are ongoing processes, and reflection is an integral part of that journey. The more you reflect on your experiences, both the successes and the challenges, the more you learn about yourself and the world around you. Reflection helps you continuously evolve, adapt, and become the person you are meant to be. As you continue to incorporate reflection into your life, you'll begin to notice shifts in your mindset, behavior, and overall perspective. The process becomes cyclical. As you grow and transform, you reflect on your progress, adjust your course, and continue forward. It's through this cycle that you achieve lasting personal growth and realize your full potential. By embracing the power of reflection, you are actively choosing to live a life of awareness, intentionality, and transformation. You are investing in your future self and creating the space to become the best version of yourself, one reflection at a time. Chapter 11. The Art of Deep Reflection. Reflection is often thought of as a simple activity, looking back at your day, thinking about a moment or event, and then moving on. While this level of reflection is beneficial in its own right, there's a deeper level of introspection that can unlock profound insights and lead to meaningful change. Deep reflection goes beyond just thinking. It's about engaging with your experiences on a level that encourages real transformation. It requires vulnerability, honesty, and the courage to face your inner truths, even when they are uncomfortable. When you engage in deep reflection, you are not merely reviewing events, but instead you're actively questioning, learning, and expanding your understanding of yourself. It's about being present with your thoughts and emotions, allowing them to flow freely, and then stepping back to examine them from a place of clarity. It's a tool that requires time, patience, and a willingness to be open to what you may uncover. One of the key aspects of deep reflection is its ability to bring greater self-awareness. Without self-awareness, personal growth becomes incredibly difficult. Deep reflection allows you to break down the barriers between what you think you know about yourself and what is actually true. It's not a passive exercise, but an active one that encourages you to challenge your assumptions, reframe your beliefs, and open your heart to growth. But why is deep reflection so powerful? It's because it helps you see beyond the surface level of your experiences. In our day-to-day lives, we're often moving too quickly to truly absorb what's happening. We might go through the motions of an event, but we don't always take the time to pause and reflect on the deeper meaning. Deep reflection encourages you to slow down, process your feelings, and understand the true impact of your experiences on your life. Let's explore how you can start incorporating deep reflection into your life and how it can elevate your personal growth journey. Part 2. The benefits of deep reflection. There are several profound benefits to practicing deep reflection. It's not just about understanding your past. It's about actively shaping your future. Here are a few key ways that deep reflection can support your growth. 1. Enhanced self-awareness. One of the most significant benefits of deep reflection is the heightened self-awareness it brings. By reflecting on your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you begin to understand the core aspects of who you are. This allows you to identify patterns in your behavior, thoughts, and emotional responses, helping you become more conscious of your automatic reactions. When you're more aware of these patterns, you can begin to make conscious choices about how you respond to situations and people in your life. 2. Increased emotional intelligence. Deep reflection enables you to process your emotions with greater understanding. Instead of reacting impulsively to your feelings, reflection helps you observe them from a distance, giving you the opportunity to gain insights into why you feel the way you do. This emotional intelligence empowers you to manage your emotions more effectively, navigate difficult situations with grace, and foster healthier relationships. 3. Improved decision-making. When you regularly engage in deep reflection, you develop the ability to make more informed and intentional decisions. Instead of relying on immediate reactions or impulses, you can reflect on the various factors that contribute to a decision. This helps you weigh the pros and cons, consider long-term consequences, and make choices that align with your values and goals. Over time, this leads to more thoughtful, purposeful decision-making. 4. Greater clarity and focus. Reflection allows you to clear away mental clutter and gain a greater sense of clarity. It helps you sort through your thoughts, prioritize your values, and eliminate distractions. With this clarity, you can approach your goals with more focus and purpose. Deep reflection gives you the space to determine what truly matters to you and what you want to pursue, creating a strong sense of direction in your life. 5. Healing and emotional release. Deep reflection can be a tool for healing emotional wounds and releasing negative emotions. When you take the time to reflect on difficult experiences, you give yourself permission to feel, process, and release the emotions associated with those experiences. This can lead to emotional release and a sense of catharsis. It's a way of letting go of past hurts and freeing yourself from the emotional weight that might be holding you back. 6. Personal growth and transformation. Finally, deep reflection serves as a catalyst for personal growth. By regularly engaging with your inner world, you identify areas for improvement and growth. Reflection allows you to examine your limiting beliefs, recognize your strengths and weaknesses, and set meaningful intentions for your future. It's a powerful tool for self-improvement that helps you transform into the person you want to become. Part 3. The process of deep reflection. To begin practicing deep reflection, you need a structured approach. Without structure, reflection can become scattered and unfocused, making it difficult to uncover valuable insights. Here's a step-by-step guide to the process of deep reflection that will help you get the most out of the experience. 1. Set aside time and space for reflection. Deep reflection requires time and space to be effective. This isn't something that can be done in a rush or during moments of distraction. Find a quiet, comfortable space where you can be undisturbed. Turn off your phone, close the door, and create an environment that encourages deep thought. It's important to commit to regular reflection, whether it's daily, weekly, or whenever you feel the need. 2. Focus on a specific experience or topic. Deep reflection works best when you focus on a specific experience, event, or aspect of your life. It could be something recent, such as a conversation you had with a friend, or something more long-term, like your career or relationships. The goal is to dive deep into that topic and explore it from multiple angles. Be specific about what you want to reflect on so that you can go beyond general thoughts and dive into the nuances. 3. Ask thought-provoking questions. To guide your reflection, ask yourself powerful, open-ended questions. These questions should challenge your assumptions and encourage deep thinking. Examples of reflection questions include: what was my emotional response to this experience, and why? How did my actions align with my values in this situation? What did I learn about myself from this experience? What could I have done differently? What strengths did I demonstrate, and where do I need to improve? The questions you ask yourself should be aimed at gaining deeper insights into your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. By continually challenging yourself with thoughtful questions, you open the door to powerful realizations. 4. Observe without judgment. When reflecting deeply, it's important to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism, especially when examining past mistakes or negative emotions. However, deep reflection requires you to be compassionate with yourself. Approach the process with curiosity and openness, not with the intention of criticizing or blaming yourself. 5. Journal your thoughts. Journaling is an effective way to capture your reflections and gain clarity. Writing down your thoughts allows you to slow down and process your experiences more thoroughly. As you write, you may begin to notice patterns, insights, or revelations that weren't immediately obvious. Journaling also helps you track your growth over time, allowing you to look back at previous reflections and see how far you've come. 6. Connect with your emotions. Deep reflection isn't just about intellectual analysis. It's about connecting with your emotions as well. Pay attention to how you felt during the experience you're reflecting on. Emotions provide valuable information about your true desires, needs, and fears. By engaging with your emotions during the reflection process, you gain a deeper understanding of your inner world. 7. Extract insights and lessons. As you reflect on your experiences, focus on extracting meaningful insights and lessons. What did you learn from the experience? How can you apply these lessons to your future actions? Reflection is about transformation, not just analysis. Use your reflections to identify areas where you can improve, grow, or change. 8. Take action. Finally, the most important step in the process is taking action based on your reflections. Insights gained through deep reflection are only valuable if you apply them to your life. Whether it's making changes in your behavior, setting new goals, or working through emotional challenges, action is what turns reflection into tangible growth. Part 4. Integrating deep reflection into your life. Now that you've learned the process of deep reflection, the next challenge is to integrate it into your daily or weekly routine. It's one thing to know how to reflect deeply. It's another thing entirely to make it a consistent habit. Start by committing to regular structured reflection. Whether you set aside time each morning, evening, or week to reflect, the key is consistency. Over time, reflection will become second nature, and you'll begin to see its transformative effects on your life. Make it a ritual, one that helps you connect with yourself, understand your experiences, and grow in meaningful ways. Remember, the goal of deep reflection is not just to review your life, but to actively engage with it in a way that promotes growth, healing, and transformation. Each reflection is a step on your journey to becoming the person you are meant to be. Through this process, you'll not only gain greater clarity and self-awareness, but also develop the tools needed to navigate life's challenges with resilience and grace. Chapter 12. Navigating the challenges of reflection. Reflection is a powerful tool for growth, but for many, it isn't always easy to engage with. In fact, many people experience initial resistance when trying to reflect deeply on their lives. This resistance can manifest in a variety of ways. Some may feel uncomfortable confronting past emotions or mistakes, while others may feel overwhelmed by the intensity of the process. It's not uncommon to avoid reflection because it requires confronting aspects of yourself that you may not be ready to face. This resistance isn't a sign of failure. Rather, it's an indication that you are approaching something that has the potential to challenge and transform you. Change, especially deep, transformative change, is never easy. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. And that's exactly what deep reflection demands from you. But what causes this resistance? Why is it so hard for some to engage with reflection, even when they know it could lead to positive change? There are several reasons why people may resist reflection. One of the most significant is the fear of confronting difficult emotions. Whether it's regret, guilt, sadness, or frustration, the process of reflecting on these feelings can be daunting. Many people prefer to push these emotions aside rather than face them head-on. However, when emotions are suppressed, they often linger in the background, affecting your well-being and preventing you from growing. Another reason for resistance is the fear of change itself. Reflecting on your life often leads to insights that challenge your current beliefs and behaviors. This can be uncomfortable, as it may require you to let go of long-held habits or mindsets that no longer serve you. The unknown, even when it promises growth, can be intimidating. Lastly, some people resist reflection because they don't feel they have the time or space to do it properly. Life is busy, and reflection requires quiet time to process thoughts and feelings. In our fast-paced world, it can be easy to prioritize tasks over personal growth. However, If you are committed to your personal development, taking the time to reflect is essential. Understanding these barriers is the first step in overcoming them. By acknowledging that resistance is a normal part of the process, you can approach reflection with a greater sense of compassion for yourself. It's important to remember that resistance doesn't mean you are not capable of reflecting. It simply means that the process may take more time and effort than you initially anticipated. Part 2. How to overcome the fear of confronting emotions. As mentioned earlier, one of the primary reasons people resist reflection is the fear of confronting difficult emotions. This is completely natural. Emotions such as shame, guilt, anger, or grief can be painful to face. Yet, when you suppress these emotions, they can fester and hinder your growth. The key to overcoming this fear is to shift your mindset about emotions. Instead of viewing difficult emotions as something to be feared or avoided, begin to see them as an opportunity for healing and growth. Emotions are signals. They tell you when something is wrong or needs attention. When you pay attention to these emotional signals, you gain valuable insight into what's happening in your inner world. To begin the process of confronting emotions, it's helpful to start small. Choose one specific emotion to focus on. This could be an emotion that you recently felt, such as frustration or sadness, or it could be a recurring emotion from the past that you have avoided addressing. Once you've identified the emotion, take a moment to simply observe it without judgment. Ask yourself questions like, what triggered this emotion? How does this emotion feel in my body? What thoughts are associated with this emotion? What does this emotion reveal about my needs or values? By taking the time to reflect on your emotions in this way, you begin to understand the underlying causes and gain clarity on how to process them. This doesn't mean that you need to fix your emotions immediately, but rather, it's about accepting them as a part of the human experience and allowing yourself the space to feel and heal. It's also important to practice self-compassion during this process. When you're dealing with difficult emotions, it's easy to be hard on yourself. However, healing requires patience and kindness. Treat yourself as you would treat a close friend who is going through a tough time. Be gentle, understanding, and supportive of yourself. Part 3. Creating a safe space for reflection. Another barrier to deep reflection is the lack of a safe, quiet space to engage in the process. Reflection requires solitude and focus, which can be hard to come by in our busy, distracted lives. Yet, creating a safe space for reflection is essential for allowing the process to unfold without distractions or interruptions. This doesn't necessarily mean you need a dedicated reflection room in your home, though that can certainly help. It simply means carving out a time and space where you can be fully present with your thoughts and feelings. This might be a cozy corner in your living room, a quiet park bench, or even a coffee shop with soft music playing in the background. When you choose a space, make sure it's somewhere you feel comfortable and undisturbed. Silence your phone, close your laptop, and allow yourself to be fully present in the moment. This is your time to focus solely on your inner world. You don't need to do anything during this time except reflect. To make your space even more conducive to reflection, consider adding elements that promote relaxation and mindfulness. For example, you might light a candle, burn some incense, or play calming background music. These small rituals can help signal to your mind that it's time to slow down and engage in deep thought. Additionally, it's important to approach reflection with the mindset of curiosity rather than judgment. When you reflect, try to do so with an open heart and mind. Your goal is not to criticize yourself or your past actions, but to understand them. Reflection is a tool for growth, not for self-criticism. When you approach it with this mindset, it becomes a process of discovery and healing, rather than one of guilt or shame. Part 4. Finding support in the reflection process. While reflection can be a deeply personal journey, It doesn't always have to be a solitary one. Sometimes sharing your reflections with others can help deepen the process. It's important to find supportive people who can listen to your thoughts without judgment and offer insight when needed. This could be a trusted friend, family member, therapist, or coach. Support doesn't mean someone providing solutions to your problems, but rather being a sounding board for your thoughts and feelings. When you share your reflections with someone who truly listens, it can help you gain new perspectives and insights that you might not have considered on your own. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your reflections with others, you might consider joining a group or community focused on personal development. Many people find that participating in group discussions or reflection circles can help them feel more connected and supported in their growth journey. However, remember that the most important aspect of reflection is your relationship with yourself. While external support can be helpful, the primary focus should always be on your inner work. Reflection is a personal process, and ultimately, it is up to you to navigate your emotions, thoughts, and experiences. Part 5. Making reflection a consistent practice. In order to reap the full benefits of reflection, it's essential to make it a consistent part of your life. Reflection isn't something you do just once in a while when you feel overwhelmed. It's a practice that should be incorporated into your daily or weekly routine. Start small by setting aside 10 to 15 minutes each day or several times a week for focused reflection. This doesn't have to be a lengthy or formal session. It could be as simple as writing down your thoughts in a journal, sitting quietly with your emotions, or asking yourself a few key questions about your day. Over time, as you make reflection a habit, you'll find that it becomes easier and more natural. The insights you gain will compound, leading to greater self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and personal growth. Chapter 13. The practical application of reflection. Reflection is more than just a philosophical or theoretical concept. It's a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation when applied in everyday life. Many people struggle with how to put reflection into practice, especially when faced with the challenges of everyday responsibilities, pressures, and distractions. This chapter will guide you through the practical steps of applying reflection in a way that feels natural and manageable, ensuring that you not only engage with it, but also see tangible results in your personal and professional life. Part 1. Setting the stage for reflection. Before diving into the hows of reflection, it's essential to understand why it is necessary and what it can do for you. Reflection is like a mirror for the mind. It helps you look at your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors from a new perspective. It brings clarity to situations that may have otherwise been clouded by emotion, impulsive reactions, or automatic patterns of thinking. When done effectively, reflection helps you break free from destructive cycles and make choices that align with your deeper values and goals. To start applying reflection practically, the first step is to create a setting that encourages deep thought. This doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It's more about carving out dedicated time and space in your daily routine. The key here is consistency. Reflection works best when it is embedded into your life as a regular habit. Setting a specific time each day or week to reflect allows you to prioritize this important practice, whether it's in the early mornings with a cup of tea or in the quiet moments before bed. Finding a time that fits into your schedule and feels comfortable for you is the first step in creating an environment conducive to reflection. As you begin this process, consider the physical environment as well. Choose a quiet place where you can sit undisturbed. This could be a corner of your home, a park bench, or even a favorite cafe with a calm atmosphere. The physical space plays an important role in calming the mind and fostering an environment where you can let your thoughts flow freely. A clutter-free space can help clear your mind and make it easier to focus. If you're someone who finds peace in rituals, try lighting a candle or playing soft instrumental music to create a peaceful ambiance. Part 2. Creating reflective journaling practices. One of the most effective tools for reflection is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, emotions, and experiences gives you the opportunity to process them fully and objectively. It also serves as a tangible record of your reflections, which allows you to track your growth over time. However, journaling can be intimidating if you're not sure where to begin. The good news is that there's no right or wrong way to journal. It's about finding a practice that works for you. The first step is to eliminate the pressure to write perfectly. Your journal doesn't have to be a polished piece of writing. The goal is simply to express yourself freely without judgment. You may want to start with a few key prompts to guide your writing. For example, what was one thing I learned today? How did I feel during a particular situation, and why? What is one thing I would like to improve or change about myself or my actions? What am I grateful for today? These prompts serve as a starting point for your reflection. You might choose one or two to focus on each day. Don't worry if you don't have answers right away. Just writing down whatever comes to mind can help you uncover insights you didn't know you had. As you continue journaling, you'll likely notice patterns and recurring themes in your thoughts and behaviors. This is a powerful way to identify areas for growth and change. In addition to using prompts, you can also write freely about whatever is on your mind. This type of stream of consciousness journaling allows you to unload your thoughts without worrying about structure. Over time, you may find that journaling becomes a natural way to process your feelings and experiences, and it will provide you with a treasure trove of insights to reflect on whenever you need guidance. Part 3. Integrating reflection into your daily activities. Reflection is not something that needs to be confined to quiet moments or journal entries. It can and should be integrated into your everyday activities. The beauty of reflection lies in its ability to be flexible and adaptable to different situations. You can reflect while cooking, exercising, walking, or even during casual conversations with friends. The goal is to be more mindful of your thoughts and actions throughout the day. One way to do this is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present in the moment without judgment. It involves paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting caught up in them. By incorporating mindfulness into your day, you can create space for reflection throughout the course of your activities. For example, while eating a meal, take a moment to reflect on how it makes you feel. Are you truly savoring the food, or are you rushing through it? While exercising, you might reflect on how your body feels and how you're treating it. Are you pushing yourself too hard, or are you honoring your limits? Mindfulness can also be applied during conversations. Reflect on how you communicate with others. Are you listening actively, or are you distracted by your own thoughts? Do you engage in meaningful exchanges, or are you simply going through the motions? These moments of reflection, even if brief, can offer valuable insights into how you interact with the world around you. You may also find it helpful to schedule brief check-ins with yourself throughout the day. Set a reminder on your phone, or make it part of your routine to pause for a few minutes at various points in the day. During these check-ins, ask yourself questions like, how am I feeling right now? What am I focusing on, and is it serving me? What is my body telling me about my emotional state? Am I aligned with my values and goals right now? These mini reflections help you stay connected to yourself throughout the day, allowing you to course correct if needed. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life, but regular check-ins can help you stay grounded and present. Part 4. Overcoming the pressure for big insights. Reflection often comes with the expectation of profound, life-changing insights. We might think that every reflection session should lead to a breakthrough or significant realization. However, this pressure can make reflection feel burdensome and discouraging, especially when nothing big happens. It's important to release this expectation and recognize that reflection doesn't always have to yield dramatic results. Small, incremental changes are often the most powerful. By consistently reflecting, even when the insights are subtle, you are making progress toward greater self-awareness. Sometimes, the most significant insights come from seemingly trivial moments or thoughts. It's about trusting the process and knowing that, over time, your reflections will add up to create meaningful change. If you find yourself feeling discouraged because you haven't had any major revelations, take a step back and acknowledge the value of your practice. Even the act of regularly reflecting is a powerful step toward growth. Don't judge yourself for not having epic insights right away. The small moments of awareness are just as valuable and often lead to greater clarity over time. Part 5. Reflection in relationships. One of the most profound ways reflection can be applied is in the context of relationships. Our interactions with others are often the mirror through which we see ourselves. By reflecting on our relationships, we can gain valuable insights into how we show up in the world and how we affect those around us. Start by reflecting on your communication style. Are you an active listener, or do you often interrupt others? Do you express your needs clearly, or do you avoid confrontation? Reflect on your behaviors in both personal and professional relationships. Are you reactive, or do you respond thoughtfully? How do your words and actions impact those around you? You might also want to reflect on the dynamics of your relationships. Are there patterns of behavior that consistently emerge? For example, do you often find yourself in conflict with certain people? Or are there recurring issues in your relationships that haven't been addressed? Reflecting on these patterns can provide you with the insights needed to improve communication, resolve conflicts, and build stronger connections. Additionally, reflection can help you identify the type of relationships you want to cultivate. Are your relationships aligned with your values? Are you spending time with people who support and uplift you? Or are you surrounded by individuals who drain your energy? These questions can guide you in making conscious choices about the relationships you invest in. Chapter 14. Leveraging reflection for personal and professional growth. Reflection is a tool that, when properly harnessed, can lead to profound shifts in our lives. It's not just about gaining insight into our actions, emotions, and thoughts. It's about taking that insight and using it to fuel change. In this chapter, we will explore how you can leverage reflection for both personal and professional growth. By utilizing reflective practices, you can move beyond self-awareness and into meaningful transformation that will impact your everyday choices, relationships, and career trajectory. Part 1. The intersection of self-awareness and growth. To understand how reflection contributes to growth, we must first understand the concept of self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation on which all growth is built. It's the ability to observe ourselves objectively, without judgment, and understand our strengths, weaknesses, desires, and motivations. However, self-awareness alone is not enough. It is simply the starting point for transformation. When we reflect on our experiences, we not only become more aware of how we think and behave, but we also gain clarity about why we think and behave in certain ways. This deeper understanding provides us with the opportunity to make conscious choices about who we want to become and how we want to act in the future. Personal growth, whether emotional, mental, or spiritual, occurs when we use reflection to bridge the gap between our current self and our ideal self. However, the journey from self-awareness to growth is not instantaneous. It requires consistent effort, and often it requires us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Reflection is the mirror that allows us to see those truths clearly. It's not always easy to face our flaws or shortcomings, but it is in these moments of discomfort that the seeds of change are planted. The key is to use these insights with compassion rather than self-criticism. Reflection can only lead to growth if it is approached with a mindset of curiosity and a willingness to improve, not a harsh judgment of past mistakes. Part 2. How reflection shapes our decision-making. One of the most powerful benefits of reflection is its ability to enhance decision-making. When we reflect, we analyze past experiences and consider what worked well and what didn't. We begin to see patterns in our thinking and behavior. These insights provide us with a framework for making better decisions in the future. Think about a time when you made a decision that you later regretted. In hindsight, you may realize that there were warning signs or gut feelings that you ignored. Reflection helps us become more attuned to these signs and feelings, so that when similar decisions arise, we are better equipped to make choices that align with our goals and values. In the professional realm, decision-making can have a significant impact on your career trajectory. Whether you are managing a team, making business decisions, or determining your career path, reflection allows you to assess the outcomes of your decisions and adjust your approach as needed. The most successful individuals are often those who are able to learn from their mistakes and use those lessons to make more informed, strategic choices in the future. Reflection also plays a crucial role in managing emotions during decision-making. In high-pressure situations, it can be easy to make impulsive decisions driven by stress, fear, or anxiety. Reflecting on past decisions can help you recognize when these emotional triggers are influencing your choices, allowing you to pause and make decisions from a place of clarity rather than reaction. Part 3. Building resilience. Through reflection resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity is a critical skill in both personal and professional life. Reflection helps us build resilience by teaching us how to learn from setbacks and challenges. When we face difficulties, our natural inclination is often to avoid or ignore them. However, reflection allows us to examine our experiences from a more objective standpoint. Instead of seeing failure as a permanent state, reflection helps us view it as a temporary setback that holds valuable lessons. Each time we reflect on a challenge, we gain insights into what went wrong, what could have been done differently, and what we can do better next time. This process not only helps us recover from setbacks, but also strengthens our ability to handle future challenges with greater ease. Building resilience through reflection also involves understanding our emotional responses to adversity. How do we react when faced with obstacles? Do we become defensive, overwhelmed, or discouraged? Reflection helps us recognize these emotional patterns, which in turn allows us to develop healthier coping mechanisms. By understanding our reactions, we can approach difficult situations with greater calm, patience, and problem-solving skills. Part 4. Leveraging reflection in relationships. As humans, we are inherently social beings. Our relationships with others play a significant role in shaping our emotional well-being and overall growth. Reflection offers a powerful tool for improving these relationships. By taking the time to reflect on our interactions with others, we can identify areas where we can improve communication, empathy, and understanding. Consider your recent interactions with a colleague, friend, or family member. Reflect on how those conversations went. Were you fully present during the conversation, or were you distracted? Did you actively listen, or were you formulating your response while the other person was speaking? Reflection helps you identify areas where you may need to improve your listening skills or your ability to communicate more clearly. Reflection also helps us understand our own needs within relationships. What do we want from our relationships, and are those needs being met? Are we giving as much as we are receiving? Sometimes, we enter relationships with unrealistic expectations or lack of self-awareness about what we need from others. Reflection allows us to assess these dynamics and make adjustments that lead to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. In the workplace, reflection can improve team dynamics and leadership effectiveness. As a leader, reflecting on your approach to managing and motivating others can help you identify what strategies work best for your team. Reflection allows you to adjust your leadership style based on the needs of the individuals you work with, creating a more collaborative and productive environment. Part 5. using reflection to achieve long-term goals. Reflection is not just about processing day-to-day experiences. It is also a powerful tool for achieving long-term goals. Whether your goals are personal or professional, reflection allows you to assess your progress, identify obstacles, and refine your strategies for success. Take a moment to think about your long-term goals. Do you have a clear vision of where you want to be in the next 5 or 10 years? Reflection can help you clarify your goals and ensure that your actions are aligned with your vision. It also helps you evaluate the steps you've taken so far and adjust your approach as necessary. If you've been working toward a particular goal and haven't seen the results you expected, reflection can reveal what's working and what's not. It allows you to pivot when necessary while still keeping your focus on the end result. Reflection also helps you stay accountable to your goals. It's easy to get sidetracked by distractions or setbacks, but regular reflection can keep you on track and motivated. By regularly reviewing your progress, you can celebrate your achievements, learn from your setbacks, and continue moving forward with confidence and clarity. The ability to reflect is not just a skill. It's a lifelong practice that has the potential to transform every aspect of your life. Whether you're looking to enhance your personal growth, make better decisions, build resilience, improve relationships, or achieve long-term success, reflection provides the tools you need to navigate the journey. The key is consistency and patience. Change does not happen overnight, but with regular reflection, you will begin to notice subtle shifts that lead to profound transformation. The most successful people in the world are those who make reflection a daily practice. They understand that growth is not linear, and it requires both self-awareness and the courage to take action based on that awareness. As you move forward, make reflection an integral part of your life. With each step, you'll find that you're not only growing, but also shaping the person you want to become. Embrace the power of reflection and let it guide you toward the future you envision.